The world is a powder keg. Wars and rumors of wars, economic turmoil, and escalating global tensions paint a picture of a world on the brink. For those who study biblical prophecy, these are not random events, but the birth pangs of a new era, heralding the imminent return of Jesus Christ. This is not a message of fear, but of hope, a clarion call to vigilance, readiness, and understanding the times we live in. To grasp the significance of these times, we must turn to the ancient prophecies of Daniel and Revelation, where God has embedded a divine roadmap for the end of days. A new lens on Daniel's weeks. For centuries, theologians and scholars have wrestled with the enigmatic weeks of Daniel 9, often interpreting them as weeks of years to pinpoint the first advent of Christ. But what if God, in His infinite wisdom, has encoded a second layer of meaning within these prophecies, a countdown clock ticking towards His glorious return? It is significant to reference Daniel 12 verse 4, "But you, Daniel, roll up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end." Many will go here and there to increase knowledge. Only during the time of the end will God unlock, or unseal, the prophecies. This corresponds to the fact that only at the time of the end has enough history and evidence elapsed to make the prophecies relatable to current events. This groundbreaking methodology proposes that a week in Daniel 9 represents a literal year, specifically linked to the 6th of Sivan, the Festival of Weeks, Shavuot. This key unlocks a startling timeline. 62 weeks, years commencing with Israel's rebirth in 1948, 62 years bring us to 2010. While seemingly insignificant on its own, this year serves as a crucial stepping stone in the divine puzzle. 69 weeks, years adding the initial 7 weeks, years, to the 62, we arrive at 2017. This year was marked by the awe-inspiring Revelation 12 sign, a celestial alignment mirroring the woman clothed with the sun described in Revelation 12 verse 1. This extraordinary event served as a heavenly exclamation point, emphasizing the significance of this prophetic timeline. 70 weeks, years. The final week, 1 year, starts on September 13, 2017, Rosh Hashanah, and culminates on September 9, 2018, the end of the 70th Hebrew year. This date, coinciding with the first of Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah, stands as a monumental marker in God's prophetic timeline, signaling the beginning of the final act, the last 7 weeks, or years, the tribulation, in this cosmic drama. 77 weeks, years. If it was God's intention to highlight 2017's Revelation 12 sign, why did He not just say 69 weeks, years, alone? Why break it apart into 7 weeks, years, and 62 weeks, years? If we examine the weeks closely, they suggest that the 7 weeks, years, are broken apart into 62 weeks, years, plus 7 weeks, years, for a total of 69 weeks, years, and also 70 weeks, years, plus the same 7 weeks, years, for a total of 77 weeks, years. This is a type of prophetic shorthand. So the 70 weeks and 7 weeks, years, combine to a total of 77 weeks, years, from 1948 to 2025. Another lens, Revelation 2 and 20, a doubling pattern. Revelation 11, 12, and 13 declare a pattern easily identifiable during the tribulation, or last 7 years, a doubling in prophetic time periods. The pattern is set in Revelation 11, 12, and 13 to 1,260 days plus 1,260 days. Revelation 20 verses 1 to 3 references the New Testament period from the start of the Christian era in 1 AD to the heightened Middle East conflict arising in 2001. The 2,000 years, 1,000 by 2, marks the time period from 1 AD to September 11, 2001. Again, this suggests that the 1,000 years mentioned should be doubled to make 2,000 years, when the Gog and Magog forces start acting in the Middle East. To the church in Smyrna, the short time. Revelation 20, 9, 1-3 and 2:11 are linked by Scripture by all 3 segments mentioning the second death, and abyss. If we stick to the doubling pattern in Revelation, we can interpret 10 days, year-to-day principle, as 20 years. This would bring us to 2021, or to the first woe as found in Revelation 9. Revelation 9, the 5th trumpet, 2021. The fifth trumpet describes Joe Biden's efforts to mandate a potentially dangerous, untested, novel vaccine on Americans. The imagery of a scorpion's needle-like tail symbolizes the syringe utilized during this dangerous period of time. Bridging the old prophecies with the new, harmonizing Daniel and Revelation. As we discussed, Daniel 9 and 12 point to February 21, 2022. This correlates with Revelation 20:9, 1-3 and 2:11, which count down 20 years from roughly September 11, 2001 to January 2022, where the 5-month period of Revelation 9 ends. This is very close to the 7-year tribulation midpoint of February 21, 2022. The abomination of desolation. Midway through this final year, on May 14, 2018, the United States relocated its embassy to Jerusalem. This act, echoing the abomination of desolation prophesied by Daniel and Jesus, further solidifies the timeline and points towards the unfolding tribulation period. This event, seemingly political in nature, carries profound prophetic implications, signaling the nearing fulfillment of God's plan. A 77-week prophecy. The prophetic clock doesn't stop at 70. Drawing parallels from King Cyrus' decree in 539 BC, 77 weeks x 7 years, to the dawn of the Christian era in 1 AD, a pattern emerges, hinting at a grander design. Could this prophecy encompass 77 years, culminating in the glorious return of Christ in 2025? This intriguing possibility invites us to delve deeper into the mysteries of God's prophetic word. Daniel 8 and 12, Converging Timelines. The prophecies of Daniel 8 and 12 lend further credence to this timeline. Daniel 8, interpreting the 2,300 days as literal days counting down from the summer solstice of 2017, the 69th week, we arrive at October 7, 2023. This date witnessed escalating tensions in the Middle East, potentially setting the stage for the rise of a Michael figure, a powerful leader who will confront the forces of darkness. Will this figure oppose the forces of Gog and Magog? This individual, reminiscent of the Archangel Michael, will play a pivotal role in the final showdown between good and evil. 666 days, the final countdown? Intriguingly, there are precisely 666 days between October 7, 2023, and August 3, 2025. Could this be an indirect reference to the infamous number of the beast in Revelation 13 verse 18, marking the final countdown to Christ's return? Is this number of days 666 marking the time period we should be watching for a beast leader, perhaps a Michael figure, and defender of Israel? Will this leader be God's agent to defend Israel and judge the nations who will rise up against her? Will this Armageddon be a war between Michael, the defender of Israel, and Gog/Magog, Ezekiel 38-39, Revelation 20, which represents the worldly nations? This chilling possibility underscores the urgency of the hour and the need for spiritual preparation. As God defends Israel through his agent, Michael, will God's people rejoice and the worldly nations mourn? Daniel 12, the 1,290 days and 1,335 days, understood as years, align with key events in history, including the completion of the Dome of the Rock in 683 AD and the establishment of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem in 2018. These two events mark two abominations which will converge at the culmination of time. Naming these buildings abominations refers to their identification with the Temple Mount. The Dome of the Rock was built on the Temple Mount and the American Embassy was located less than 1 mile from the Dome of the Rock. The phrase time, times, and half a time, 3.5 years, doubled to 7 years according to Revelation's pattern, points towards a potential resurrection of the dead in 2025. This resurrection, a pivotal event in God's redemptive plan, will mark the beginning of a new heaven and a new earth. Heavenly signs. The blood-red moon tetrad. In 2014 and 2015 there were blood-red eclipses which occurred on Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles, foreshadowing a time of trouble for Israel and the world. Revelation 12 signs, celestial confirmation. Adding to the weight of evidence are the astronomical signs described in Revelation 12. The woman and the dragon, the first sign, fulfilled on September 23, 2017, depicted the woman clothed with the sun, representing God's covenant people. The second sign, a red dragon, or snake, manifested on June 17, 2023, as a rare planetary alignment, resembling a dragon in the dawn sky. This dragon, or snake, symbolizing Satan and China, seeks to devour the woman's child, but the child is caught up to God's throne. The second sign, a red dragon, manifested on June 17, 2023, as a rare planetary alignment. 5 planets, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus, and Mercury, formed a line in the dawn sky, resembling a dragon or snake from one end of heaven to the other. The reddish hue of the dawn sky further emphasized the red dragon imagery. This alignment, along with the sun and moon, made a total of 7 celestial bodies, corresponding to the dragon's 7 heads. These celestial events serve as divine confirmations, marking key points on the prophetic roadmap leading to Christ's return. The 7-year tribulation and its midpoint. If the 7-year tribulation period commenced on September 9, 2018, its midpoint, exactly 1,260 days, falls on February 21, 2022. This date indeed marked a significant escalation in global conflict, with Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the subsequent tensions between the West and Russia. This conflict, with its far-reaching implications, could be a harbinger of the tribulation's intensification. Total solar eclipses over America served as celestial bookends, marking the 7-year tribulation period, with one occurring on August 21, 2017 and the other occurring on April 8, 2024. Addressing the no man knows the day or hour argument. Some may argue that Jesus himself stated, "No man knows the day or hour of his return." However, it's crucial to consider the context of this statement. Jesus, during his earthly ministry, voluntarily limited his divine knowledge and operated within the confines of his human nature. This self-emptying, kenosis, allowed him to fully identify with humanity and experience the limitations of human existence. Furthermore, Revelation 1 verses 1-3 reveals that after his ascension and glorification, God revealed to Jesus what must shortly come to pass. This suggests that Jesus, now in his glorified state, possesses complete knowledge of the end times timeline. He then relayed this revelation to the Apostle John through an angel, who meticulously recorded it in the book of Revelation. Additionally, a rigid, literal interpretation of no man knows disregards the numerous biblical passages that provide detailed information about the timing and circumstances of Christ's return. These prophecies, including those in Daniel, offer glimpses into the end-time scenario, allowing us to discern the season of his coming. The 9th of AV, a day of destruction and transformation. August 3, 2025, falls on the 9th of AV on the Hebrew calendar, a date laden with historical significance. It marks the anniversary of the destruction of both the first and second temples in Jerusalem, tragic events that symbolize God's judgment and the consequences of rebellion. Could this third occurrence of the 9th of AV mark a different kind of destruction, the transformation of believers' bodies as they are raptured into heaven? This date, calculated from the 1,260 to 3.5 years, X2 pattern as found in Revelation 11, 12, and 13, is exactly 2,520 days from the end of the 70th year, or week, in Daniel 9. This aligns with the resurrection of both the righteous and unrighteous described in Daniel 12, a momentous event that will usher in the eternal state. Ezekiel's vision, not a physical temple, but a transformed body. The detailed descriptions of a future temple in Ezekiel 40-48 may not refer to a physical structure, but rather to the transformed bodies of believers. This interpretation aligns with the New Testament teaching that believers are the temple of the Holy Spirit, 1 Corinthians 6 verse 19. The dimensions and features of Ezekiel's temple could symbolize the glorious, incorruptible bodies that believers will receive at the resurrection. As in the days of Noah. Luke 17 verses 26-28, and as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be also in the days of the Son of Man. They ate, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise as it was also in the days of Lot, They ate, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built, but on the day that Lot went out of Sodom it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even so will it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. So, this suggests there is not a rapture event but a resurrection of the righteous and unrighteous on the same day Jesus returns, which could be August 3, 2025. The righteous are snatched away to Jesus while fire and judgment are poured out on the old heaven and old earth. The whole counsel of God. If Daniel 9 points to the Christian era in 1 AD, then Revelation 20, the 2000 years, picks up in 1 AD and ends in 2001. God documented history starting with Abraham before it happened. Conclusion: a time of hope and preparation. While interpreting prophecy requires humility and discernment, the convergence of these timelines, signs, and symbols is undeniable. The prophecies of Daniel and Revelation, when viewed through these new lenses, paint a vivid picture of an imminent return, potentially culminating in 2025. Jesus tells us to watch for the signs of his coming. The Christian's foundation, the 8 solas. Sola Scriptura. Sola Fide. Sola Gratia. Solus Christus. Soli Deo Gloria. Solus Spiritus Sanctus. Sola Sacramentum. Sola Ecclesia Invisibilia.